Hello and welcome to the predictions of the 2020-2021 League Two season. I'm Craig Savage and with me is Daniel Cody. Unfortunately, Charlie Betts is not here. We are praying for you, Charlie. You're going through some personal troubles. We wish you, Louise, and your baby girl, Jessica, all the best. She's in the right place at this present time. So it's just us two today. We are predicting who we think is going to do well and who's going to do rubbish in League Two. What we're going to guess top three, the playoffs, and the bottom two. So if you haven't seen any of our predictions in previous seasons, we do a little points game and we total up to come the end of the season. So for example, it's 3 points. If your team that you predict finishes in the correct position, for example, if I said Barrow to win the League Two and they finish first, I get 3 points. It's 1 point if you guess the team in the correct areas. For example, if I said Barrow to finish second and they finish first, I get 1 point. And a minus 1 point this season compared to -3 after the shambles of last season. If I said Barrow were to win the league and they finish rock bottom, I will lose a point. That's the point system. And we'll move on. Obviously, Charlie's not here. We're going to use his predictions up first. We've got it noted down here. Mr. Daniel Cody, welcome, obviously. It's been a while.
It has.
How's your little summer break?
Not too bad. Obviously, just to warn people, all the interviews that have come out in the last month were recorded eons ago. So we have actually had a break, but we are looking forward to the new season. And some of those interviews will probably come up in these notes.
Yes, they will. So we'll start with Charlie Betts' prediction. We obviously got it written down here. Charlie Betts has gone for who for first place?
Charlie Betts has gone for the predictable. He has gone for Bolton, led by Anthony Sarcevic, to win Sky Bet League 2 this season. He has talked about his promotion record. Obviously, he mentioned that in his interview with us. He's mentioned a lot of signings, which there have been hundreds of at Bolton, and experience such as Matt Gilks and Nathan Delfonso, to name a few. So that's Charlie Betts' title winners. In second place, alongside them, he's gone for Salford City. I think probably just to annoy me, knowing that I would be reading these out. He's gone for experience again. So Darren Gibson, Ian Henderson and the likes, all players with experience in the league above. And in third place, he's done the same for the third time. And again, he's gone for personal reasons. Tranmere Rovers, a club that have obviously done a lot for us and contributed to our best videos. But they have signed experience as well. James Vaughan coming back again, Jay Spearing coming into the club. And obviously, we're not going to talk about the controversy of the way they went down. But there's a little bit of an atmosphere in the club to potentially bounce back. But he did mention that they lost Jake Caprice, which he's unhappy about.
It's very unhappy about. And I'll go through his playoffs team. So for fourth place, he's going for Cheltenham. Now, Cheltenham lost in the playoffs last season, and his reason is they were close last year, but I've signed a couple of lads on loan. Loss of Ryan Broom could be costly. Fifth place has gone for Mansfield. They embarrassed him last season.
I wrote the same thing.
And they embarrassed me, and I'll go to my explanation in a minute. But they have strengthened. They signed out Marek Steck. We know Marek Steck very well. Maynard is staying. James Perch, I didn't know he was still playing. Happy days.
Neither did I.
And Rawson from Forest Green. He's now at Mansfield. Sixth place, he's gone for Carlisle United as an outside bet. They've signed 11 players over the summer, including Dean Furman, who's a South African international. Seventh place, he's gone for Bradford. Once again, they made him look stupid last season. Underperformed, but still have enough quality in their side. Signed a couple of players with experience from the league above, such as Callum Cook. And his outside bet to win the playoffs, is Carlisle United. I'm not sure. Down at the bottom, he's gone for 23rd place. He's gone for Stevenage. I tell you what, Stevenage are very lucky to stay up this season.
Well, we talked about that in a Macclesfield episode, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
On the pitch, they got away with murder. But off the pitch, running a sustainable club, as I'm sure will be mentioned in this episode, could help them this year, but not according to Charlie.
At the bottom, he's gone for Southend, a back-to-back relegation. The club is in disarray. They've signed. They've got a new boss who was from Weymouth, who took them up to the National League. Yeah. But there's a lack of recruitment, lack of financial constraints. It'd be too big to overcome. So looking at those predictions, Cody, what do you think to Charlie's predictions?
I actually, given his usual lack of knowledge as we drift down the English leagues, I don't think he's going to have done too badly. And I did say to you prior to this that I'm not going to be able to take the mick out of him this year. And the reasons for that will become quite clear soon.
So let's go to the person who came last in last season's predictions, Daniel Cody. Who have you gone for to win the league?
Well, thank you very much for that. Can I point out I won the first season? Well, my league winners are, I think, one of the only teams in the top 7 that Charlie didn't mention. And I've taken a bit of a gamble. So I can now, because just to give viewers a bit of an understanding, normally I go first in the prediction shows. Charlie starts scribbling on his piece of paper and then copies what I've done. So this year I can talk about why I've gone for things. So I normally look at a few things. In terms of transfers, have the players that have left the club gone to a higher or lower league generally? In terms of the league table, I go straight to the teams that were in the playoffs last year and have a look at how they've done. And that has shaped my league winners this year. Because I have gone, and you're going to be surprised by this, given the way that things went in after lockdown, I've gone for Exeter City. Ooh. Now, that is a bold choice. But Charlie mentioned the name already. They've signed Jake Caprice from Tranmere. They've signed Rory McArdle, and they've kept most of the squad together. So they've got in a couple of very good signings. And I think it's just a little lift they're going to need, a little bit of experience. Obviously, this is harder for us because there's still 5-6 weeks of the window to go, where normally there's only 1 or 2 when the season starts. So we've got more scope to look stupid this year. But I think Exeter City will win it.
I think it's harder with a longer break for League 1 and League 2. I know obviously you had the playoffs, but it's a lot harder to predict this year. Second place.
I have gone for, then the obvious, I've gone for Bolton Wanderers. So the only reason I've gone for them second rather than title winners is just because of the sheer number of players they've signed. It's going to take, a bit like the John Still Luton effect, it's going to take 10 to 15 games for them to be at their best. A new manager as well, there's not really much continuity there. It needed the change, and I think this season they will go up. They've announced that their skipper's going to be Anthony Sarcevic, obviously, who won promotion and Player of the Year with Plymouth last year, and he's now back in the Northwest as well. But I think it's just the time to gel in, but I think they'll go up. I think they'll go up, no problem at all.
Third place.
Third place, and another surprise, probably the final one of this lot, is Forest Green Rovers.
Ooh, I went Forest Green last year and they didn't get anywhere near what I wanted them to do. So go on, tell me why.
A few experienced signings, to be honest. They've got Jamil Mattin from Newport, Dan Sweeney from Barnet, who we know well from our network career and Football Manager, Kane Wilson back in from West Brom. They've just brought in solid players. They've kept a lot of the squad together and they've brought in and added to that. I just can't see any reason on paper not to put them in my top 7. And because there were so many doubts about others, I just snuck them in third.
Last day of the season, snuck them in third place. Let's move on to your playoffs. You've got 4 to 7.
Almost identical to Charlie. So in fourth place, I've gone for Tranmere, who obviously he had in the automatic places. I've gone for them 1 place lower just because of a little bit of uncertainty with the assistant taking over. But otherwise, they've signed well. They've got good players. And there's continuity there because he was the assistant previously. But Mickey Mellon's going to be a big loss. We all know that. In 5th and 6th, I've gone the opposite way round to Charlie, but I have gone for Mansfield and Carlisle. So Carlisle, for me, have really brought in players in their peak. They've got rid of a lot of older players and they've brought in people in their mid-20s and good players. So I like the work they've done in the window. Mansfield similarly had a shocking year last year, but the signings look good on paper and you've just got to give them a little bit of leeway, but I know that they have every chance of letting me down again. And in 7th, I nearly did what Charlie did. I nearly went for Bradford again because I'm aware they're a bigger club. They could sign a lot of players towards the end of the window. But as it stands at the moment, I had 5 teams I couldn't choose between. I couldn't choose between Cheltenham, Colchester, who have lost a lot of players from last year's playoffs. I had Salford near enough there as well. But in the end, I've gone for Port Vale, who finished 8th last year, just because the couple of signings they have made suit their tactic down to the ground. So I've got no other reason than that, but Port Vale to sneak 7th.
Very interesting. Did you say Mansfield 5th?
So I have Mansfield 6th, Carlisle 5th.
Oh, Mansfield 6th. Right. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Out of those 4, Craig, you will be surprised to know that I am going to go for, like Charlie bets, Carlisle United to win the playoffs in a final against Tranmere, nonetheless.
Ooh.
Very bold.
Well, Carlisle have had playoff experience in recent years, but obviously not progressing. They haven't got Keith Curl, so they should have a problem.
They could do with him based on last year.
Well, yeah. Okay, so who you got to be relegated out of the Football League?
I've gone for a very similar pattern to Charlie again here. I've kept Stevenage up, though, because although they were preparing for the National League, one of the things I've been looking at here, a bit like Morecambe as well, who were in that shout, is people who have got bigger squads. A lot more teams are gambling on experience this year, but bigger squads are going to be crucial. So Morecambe are everyone's automatic pick, but they've signed good players. Ben Pringle, one of them, another man we've spoken to. Stevenage have signed a lot. So I have gone for back-to-back relegations for Southend United. despite Mark Moseley taking charge from Weymouth after back-to-back promotions with them, I just can't see a way out for them. They've not really signed anyone, but again, they could do late work in the window. And although he's a good manager, the club's in freefall. There's still uncertainty off the pitch, which we have to factor in given the time. And I'm going to go for them to go down. But in 23rd and bottom of the league, I can't really explain this one other than I don't like the work they've done. I've gone for Crawley Town. And the reason I've gone for Crawley Town is because they've signed a few players, but they've taken gambles on people from lower leagues. So they've got a player in from Hemel and from Hampton and Richmond. They've signed young players out of academies and a very experienced Tony Craig. They've not really brought anyone in who's at their peak. And that concerns me. So as a result, Crawley Town to bring up the rear in the Football League.
Wow. I wasn't expecting Crawley Town, to be honest. So at the moment, as it stands, we have not gone for the two promoted sides from the National League to be relegated.
But what about you? That's the big question, because you've had the chance to take the mick out of us. So what have you gone for?
I've been quite upset. I think this is where the mickey's taking starts. So I have gone to win win League Two is Salford City.
You haven't.
I have gone for Salford. Just because I've looked at their signings, they've got some good signings under Graham Alexander. Yeah, there's real experience in the squad, and obviously with a few youngsters there, I can really see him doing well. I've gone the same place as you for Bolton. I've gone for them to finish second, even kill this time, so they won't be on -12, which is good news. Obviously, signed a load of players, you said, but are they getting free signings somewhere? Because where are they getting all these signings from?
You can only imagine that there's going to be a lot of people leaving, but I wouldn't like to look at that wage bill.
Anyway, third place, I've gone for Mansfield. I think I predicted them in the last two predictions, Mansfield, and they've let me down twice. Third time lucky. They've got to get it right, I think. So my playoffs, this is where it gets very interesting. Fourth place, I've gone for Exeter. Pretty much the same reason that you said, really. They are a good side. Matty Taylor under them. Fifth place, I've gone for Tranmere. They'll spur them on from getting relegated from last season. I think the way they got relegated, you said, that'll spur them on. However, as you said, I do have a bit concerned with Michael Jackson in charge. First managerial job, being the assistant. Will he keep the same philosophy of what Mickey Mellon did, or will he try something different? It's hard to decide. But I think they'll be all right in the playoffs. Sixth place, I have gone for Port Vale. And this was the last-minute switch that I had because I did have Bradford in it, and I've dropped them out.
Oh, so we've done the same thing.
Yeah, so I also went for Bradford and knocked them out. I think Port Vale made some really good signings to be honest. Zach Mills, Devante Rodney, Theo Robinson. Tom Pope's obviously, when he gets back from the suspension, there. And he said they finished 8th last season. I think with the kit that they're playing in, I think they'll throw a few teams off because it's an absolute disgusting kit. So I expect Port Vale to do well. Now, 7th place is the wild one, really wild one. None of you have said it so far. I'm going to go for Grimsby.
Wow. I had them in my relegation battle. I've got them 19th.
Okay. Do you know why I've gone for Grimsby?
Bill Elmoshney.
Who's in charge?
Ian Holloway.
Exactly. Ian Holloway.
That's the only reason I've had them to stay up.
Hey, he's taken teams up before. He's got really good promotion records. As I said, the budget won't be there, but looking at their signings, they've got some really good signings, to be honest. And I think his effect, because they were trying to turn the tide when he took over. They were dying before he took over. Then he took over, and I think they were a lot better. So they're my outside bet for the playoffs is Grimsby. But my team to go up prior to the playoffs is Exeter, no doubt. The bottom. So I think Harrogate will survive. I think Barrow will survive. I think Stevenage will survive. We've all gone for one team at Southend. I think they'll be in 23rd.
Okay.
As you pointed out, them being an absolute financial mess. But I've also gone for 24th place, another team who's in a financial mess, and that's Oldham.
They're one of the two that I said I didn't mention in the top or the bottom because they did say they were in a financial mess and not paying players, but they're suddenly bringing in big name signings. I don't get how it's coinciding.
Harry Kewell's in charge at the moment. He'll get sacked soon. Lose 2 games, he'll get sacked because this is what the owner does.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's not really the players; it's the owners that are going to completely mess us up. And the owner's on about 10 now managers within 3-4 years. Yeah. I can see the same thing being for Oldham. I mean, Harry Kewell loses a couple of games, he'll get the sack, and then someone else will take charge and then get the sack, and then they're probably not paying their players, and then they'll probably get a 1 order. They'll probably get a points deduction within the administration, and I can see them going down. via point deductions.
Sound reasoning, to be fair.
And they'll be the first Premier League side, former Premier League side, to be relegated out of the Football League. Nice little stat for you there, Charlie. Nice
Lovely
little
stat.
stat for you. Just for the record, who have we gone for again? So Daniel Cody has gone for Exeter to win the league, Bolton second, Forest Green third, Tranmere fourth, Carlisle fifth, Mansfield sixth, Port Vale seventh, Carlisle to get promoted by the playoffs. Down the bottom, 23rd place Southend and 24th place Crawley Town. Myself, I have gone for Salford to win the league, Bolton second, Mansfield third, Exeter fourth, Tranmere fifth, Port Vale sixth, Grimsby seventh, Exeter go out for the playoffs, Southend 23rd and Oldham 24th. And Charlie Betts has gone for Bolton to win the league, Salford second, Tranmere third, Cheltenham fourth, Mansfield fifth, Carlisle sixth, Bradford seventh, Carlisle via the playoffs, and Stevenage 23rd and Southend 24th. So those are our first predictions of this summer. We obviously got League One, we have got the Championship, we have got the National League and the National League North and South to come. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and you can follow us on Twitter at HonestFootball3. We'll see you next time.